Hello, everyone. Don't get too excited by Trump's statement that something good is coming out of Russia, some good news. Um, unless it's the news that Putin's government has been overthrown and Putin and his cronies have been arrested and handed over to the International Criminal Court. Anything else is pretty much bullshit. Now, here's something that I personally like to read because it makes me feel a little bit less lonely. I'm so glad that MI6 chief says that Putin is a liar. It's nice to feel validated by somebody who knows what they're talking about instead of some nutcases that only listen to radical conservative media. It is kind of awesome. Now, Ukrainian troops with the more regular shipments of weapons, particularly the European purchased weapons, and as I mentioned before, the military technology developments of their own, such as the land drones, are pushing back hard against Russia's attempts to advance in the east and in the south. Now, here is something important to remember. This situation is like a long-term developing story, especially the part that's happening in the east. There's movement back and forth there all the time. But I'll take the good news wherever it is available. So, we have some land retaken by the Ukrainian troops in the east near Dobropilya. That was where Russia had pierced Ukrainian defenses back in August. Now, I want to point this out. You know, we talked about the snail pace at which Russia has been moving, right? We talked about how in a whole year they managed to only make like 1% of difference in their progress. Notice, so this breakthrough was in August. It's only September, and Ukrainians have already patched up that hole and pushed back. That is indicative. So, that is good news. Now, obviously, there's going to be additional skirmishes, etc. Another thing is, once again, Russians are suffering tremendous amount of losses. So, we are talking thousands. And remember, just a short while ago, between the dead and the wounded, Russia had crossed that million casualty mark. Of course, not to be outdone, Russia continues to punish Ukrainian civilians. There was an attack again in the east where 5 people were killed. This was not a military zone. Now, the good news is that Ukraine continues to hit back with the carefully planned and very carefully executed long-range strikes, and again, hitting Russia where it hurts. Oil industry. So, there's been another fire at a refinery in the center Bashkiristan region. And that is 1,400 kilometers from the front. So it is about 900 miles. So, Putin says that over 700,000 Russian soldiers were now deployed along the Ukrainian front line. The question is when, considering how many they're losing on a daily and weekly basis. Also, again, considering the source, folks, that number to me is highly suspect. Unless we have another source that can independently confirm this number, I wouldn't be surprised if this was rather significantly inflated. Now, there was a report that came out of Yale School of Public Health following an investigation of the fate of Ukrainian children that were kidnapped and taken to Russia. So, according to the study, they have identified more than 210 sites where the children were taken for military training, drone manufacturing, that's child labor, and other forced re-education as part of the large-scale deportation program. Once again, I encourage you to go and look up the definition of genocide. The definition itself, it's not just one thing. It is a series of points, a series of actions that one country or one people can take against another. And kidnapping and basically brainwashing of children is one of those points. Another one of those points is what? Yes, attacking the land where people reside and making it unlivable. This does apply to Ukraine. I know a lot of people associate this with Gaza right now, which is a separate story. But if you look at what has been done in Ukraine, the miles and miles and miles of mines that have to be located and disabled, the destroyed dams, the flood areas, all of that, and of course all of the stuff that's happening around Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, that fits the definition of genocide as well. And we had not one but two instances again of the NATO space violation. One, Russian fighter jets flying over a Polish oil rig in the Baltic Sea. The other, 3 jets flying over Estonia's airspace. Estonia and Poland are both members of NATO. And right now, what they're doing is they scramble the jets. In this particular case, there were some Italian jets in the area. And escort Russian jets back into Russia. My question is, so what next? Because again, we talked about this. This is Russia towing the line. This is Russia looking to see what it can get away with. Personally, I think combined with the drones that flew over into Poland and Romania, these are acts of aggression and intimidation, and it's time to push back. Let's all not forget how in 2014, Russia had shot down a passenger airplane, claiming they thought it was a Ukrainian warplane. Well, in this particular case, there is no doubt. These are not passenger airplanes. These are Russian fighter jets. There's zero doubt about it, and there's zero doubt why they're there. So, once again, in addition to Poland and Romania, Estonia had invoked Article 4. My question for NATO is, how much longer are you going to be satisfied with just Article 4? More to come.